His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa sent a cable of congratulations to the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, on Saudi Arabia's success in winning the bid to host the World Expo 2030. His Majesty the King expressed congratulations on this major global achievement, which reflects Saudi Arabia's prestigious international standing and constitutes a culmination of its continuous achievements and success in all fields, as well as its ability to host successful global events. His Majesty praised the historic, deep-rooted relations between the two countries and their peoples in all fields, wishing Saudi Arabia continued progress and prosperity under the leadership of the custodian of the two holy mosques. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa received an invitation from the Emir of Qatar, His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, to attend the 44th session of the GCC Supreme Council, hosted by Qatar in December. His Majesty expressed thanks and appreciation to the Emir of Qatar for the invitation and wished the upcoming Gulf Summit success in building on the Council's achievements and enhancing a GCC country's integration. The Royal Court has announced that His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa will lead Bahrain's delegation to the 28th Conference of the Parties to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, COP28, set to take place in Dubai, the UAE, upon the invitation of the President of the UAE, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa held a ceremony at Al Sakir Palace to receive the credentials of 3 new ambassadors to the kingdom. The ceremony was attended by His Highness, the personal representative of His Majesty the King, His Highness the representative of His Majesty the King for Humanitarian Work and Youth Affairs, Minister of the Royal Court, Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Chief of Royal Protocol. The new ambassadors arrived at Sakir Palace individually, where they were received by the Chief of Royal Protocol. The Ambassador of Brazil, Adriana Silva Pucci, arrived at Sakir Palace, where the usual protocols were performed. His Majesty the King received the credentials of the ambassador and exchanged welcome statements. His Majesty the King hailed the strong bilateral relations and steadily growing ties and the development witnessed in all fields, wishing him every success in performing his diplomatic duties. The Ambassador of Pakistan, Thaqib Rauf, arrived at Sakir Palace, where the usual protocols were performed. His Majesty the King received the credentials of the ambassador and they exchanged welcome statements. His Majesty the King hailed the strong bilateral relations and steadily growing ties and the development witnessed in all fields, wishing him every success in performing his diplomatic duties. The Ambassador of Egypt, Riham Abdelhamid Mahmoud Khalil, arrived at Sakir Palace, where the usual protocols were performed. His Majesty the King received the credentials of the ambassador and they exchanged welcome statements. His Majesty the King hailed the strong bilateral relations and steadily growing ties and the development witnessed in all fields, wishing her every success in performing her diplomatic duties. The ambassadors conveyed to His Majesty the King greetings and appreciation of their country's leaders. He wished His Majesty the King abundant health and happiness, and Bahrain and its people further progress and prosperity. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, sent a cable of congratulations to the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, on Saudi Arabia's success in winning the bid to host the World Expo 2030. His Royal Highness congratulated Saudi Arabia on its global achievement, highlighting its prestigious international standing and ability to host successful global events. His Royal Highness commended the long-standing relations between the two countries and their peoples, wishing Saudi Arabia continued progress and prosperity under the leadership of the custodian of the two holy mosques. His Royal Highness sent a similar cable to the Saudi Crown Prince and Prime Minister, His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. His Majesty the King's representative for humanitarian work and youth affairs, His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa, visited the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, Medical University of Bahrain, where he was received by the President of the University and Student Union Council, Professor Samir Al-Atoum, the Commander of the Royal Medical Services, Brigadier General Sheikh Dr. Fahad bin Khalifa Al Khalifa, the Commander of King Hamad University Hospital, Colonel Sheikh Dr. Salman bin Mohammed Al Khalifa, and members of the University's Executive Committee. His Highness Sheikh Nasser affirmed the importance of the medical and nursing professions and the role in serving society and the role of the youth in supporting different communities by joining humanitarian activities in light of the prominent role of Bahraini youth who enjoyed the support of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. His Highness spoke with the students and affirmed the importance of the Bahraini youth and the role in shaping the future of the kingdom and urged them to excel in their fields. His Highness hailed the winners of the Inspiring Excellence Award, which aims to honour university graduates in the fields of leadership, innovation and community participation and celebrate their achievements. His Highness congratulated Captain Dr. Faraz Nur al-Din, an orthopaedic surgeon for upper extremities and sports injuries in the Royal Guard, and a member of the Royal Medical Team in Bahrain, Aisha Al-Bakri, a nursing teacher at King Hamad University Hospital, and Dr. Talal Hilal, Associate Consultant at the Mayo Clinic in the US, who received the award in absentia. Professor Al-Atoum expressed pride, gratitude and appreciation to His Highness for his visit, addressing the students and supporting and encouraging the youth, as well as his wise vision and future outlook for the youth sector. In implementation of the directives of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, and under the patronage of the representative of His Majesty the King for Humanitarian Work and Youth Affairs, His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa, Bahrain signed a number of agreements to implement a package of developmental projects for Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. On the occasion, His Highness Sheikh Nasser affirmed that the projects reflect His Majesty the King's humanitarian initiatives towards brotherly people, asserting the Royal Humanitarian Foundation's, the RHF's, pride in implementing the directives. His Highness hailed the support the Foundation receives from the government, led by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister. He stated that the Bahrain National Committee for supporting the Palestinian people in Gaza continues to provide urgent humanitarian relief, hailing the efforts of the committee's president and members and all the contributors and supporters. For his part, the RHF Secretary General and CEO of the committee, Dr. Mustafa Al-Sayed, stated that 4 agreements were signed with the Jordan Hashemite Charity Organisation. Dr. Al-Sayed reviewed the organisation's Secretary General, Dr. Hussein Al-Shalabi, the importance of cooperation to support the Palestinian people, based on the joint experience and projects that reflect the distinguished relations between Bahrain and Jordan. The Bahrain Olympic Committee, the BOC, signed a memorandum of understanding with its Tunisian counterpart within the framework of the close relations between the two countries and to strengthen the existing cooperation in the sports field. The MOU was signed by First Deputy Chairman of the Supreme Council of Youth and Sports, Chairman of the General Sports Authority and President of BOC, His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa, and the Tunisian Olympic Committee Chairman of the Board of Directors, Mahrez Boussiane. The Cabinet Affairs Ministry Under Secretary and BOC Vice President, His Highness Sheikh Isa bin Ali Al Khalifa, and BOC Secretary General Faraz Akahiji were present. His Highness Sheikh Khalid expressed his pride in the strong relations between the two countries, stressing that the MOU aims to develop sports activity and develop the Olympic movement in both countries. The MOU includes cooperation in the technical, medical and scientific fields, governance, preparing athletes, exchanging training camps, promoting women's sports, participating in scientific forums and conferences, and coordinating opinions and positions in sports bodies and organisations. His Highness wished the Tunisian leadership, government and people further progress and prosperity. At the end of the meeting, the President of the Tunisian Olympic Committee presented a commemorative gift to His Highness Sheikh Khaled. The First Deputy Chairman of the Supreme Council for Youth and Sports, a Chairman of the General Sports Authority, the GSA, and President of Bahrain Olympic Committee, the BOC, His Highness Sheikh Khaled bin Hamad Al Khalifa, received in Rifat the British boxer Amir Khan, in the presence of the Deputy Chairman of the GSA and Chairman of the Bahrain Combat Sports Council, His Highness Sheikh Salman bin Isa Al Khalifa, the Under-Secretary of Cabinet Affairs and Deputy President of BOC, His Highness Sheikh Isa bin Ali Al Khalifa, the CEO of GSA, Abdurrahman Asker, the Secretary General of BOC, Faris Al Kuhiji, and the President of Bahrain Boxing Federation, Rashid Flaifel. His Highness Sheikh Khaled affirmed that Bahrain gives considerable attention to combat sports, which resulted in making many achievements, and that the Kingdom continues to improve its boxers to achieve further successes. His Highness welcomed the boxer Amir Khan, highlighting his outstanding sports career. His Highness Sheikh Khaled asserted BOC's keenness in cooperation with the Bahrain Combat Sports Council to develop the boxing sport technically and produce boxers who represent Bahrain. He hailed the utilisation of Amir Khan's experience in preparing technical plans to develop the capabilities of the national boxing team. He wished boxer Amir Khan further success. The Bahrain Institute for Political Development, BIPD, held its fourth meeting of the Board of Trustees of 2023, during which the Chairman of the Board of Trustees, Ali bin Mohammed Al-Rumehi, expressed his deep appreciation for the efforts of the executive management in organising events and programmes with full compliance with all administrative and financial regulations and laws. Al-Rumehi praised BIPD's achievements during the implementation of the Institute's national strategy for the years 2020 to 2024. These achievements aim to achieve the royal vision of His Majesty the King and in line with the directives of the government headed by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister. The Chairman pointed out that the Institute had implemented 402 events during the years 2020 to 2023, benefiting 29,740 participants. He noted that the Institute has signed 16 cooperation agreements and memorandums of understanding with a number of local and regional institutions, which will contribute to spreading BIPD's message and goals to reach everyone. The Ministry of Transportation and Telecommunications launched the first pilot briefing system of its kind in the GCC. The Ministry launched the new system as part of its efforts to improve the quality of its services and in line with efforts aimed at digital transformation and within plans to develop meteorological services in Bahrain. The system will work on saving time, effort and cost for easy access to weather information for flight operations. Users of the system, including pilots and airline operation centres, will be able to access the system from anywhere and at any time and view weather information for each flight, which includes the current weather condition at Bahrain International Airport and the weather condition on the flight route until it reaches its final destination. The system will also provide weather warnings, areas of turbulence and satellite images showing the location of cumulonimbus clouds. During the month of November, the Kingdom of Bahrain was able to host and organise many different conferences and exhibitions as part of the Kingdom's efforts to hold and attract major international events. More in this report.
The Kingdom of Bahrain succeeded in organizing many conferences and exhibitions in November 2023, which confirms the Kingdom's ability to host and hold major international events in order to support the tourism sector and develop the national economy. On November 14th, His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister opened the Cityscape Bahrain Exhibition 2023, coinciding with the launch of the Jewelry Arabia and Centre Arabia exhibitions. These exhibitions achieved record numbers, the largest in their history, in terms of the volume of participation, unprecedented turnout, exhibition spaces, and total sales, as the number of visitors increased by 51% compared to last year. On November 17th, a meeting of an elite group of decision-makers and political, military, security and academic figures took place at the Manama Dialogue, with the aim of discussing and analyzing the most prominent political, defense and security issues and developments in the Middle East and the world, and coming up with data that serves all humanity. On November 22nd, His Majesty the King patronized the opening of the 6th edition of the Bahrain International Agricultural and Animal Production Show, Mara'i 2023, which reflects the Kingdom's keenness to achieve a set of strategic goals that contribute to global food production, protect the animal cultural heritage, and enhance the sector's contribution to local products, and encourages investment in agricultural and livestock production. Meanwhile, Bahrain is preparing to host and organize a number of conferences and exhibitions in December, including the Manama Health Conference and Exhibition, the Autumn Exhibition, the Cybersecurity Conference, and the 5th Sustainability Conference. The Kingdom of Bahrain is moving forward in strengthening its position on the map of the exhibition and conference industry, thanks to its competitive capabilities and promising national competencies that have enhanced its ability to attract various regional and international events.